Well, I'm going to try to stay focused on the topics. I got laid off today. So here I was upset, about getting 16 hours a week for the winter months. And now I wish I had the 16 hours a week because now there's none, at least for 2 months and 10 days at minimum. Because our governor in Virginia shut down our state till June 10th. So, after all this is said and done, and this virus is already reinfecting people, so there's, do we look for Antichrist to come out of who's going to be the if you will, saving grace from this global catastrophe? Because I think the catastrophes are going to continue to get worse. I mean, it'd be nice to think that they weren't, but we need to prepare mentally and spiritually for that. And what happens when SARS mutates? Or MERS, MERS, because they already call them this SARS-CoV-2. When MERS mutates. So, there's going to be someone that comes along, because Antichrist has got to make his appearance some kind of way. And the only way the world would accept, not just a country, but the world would accept someone is, well, the majority of the world would accept someone is that there would have to be major world catastrophe going on to where the world is looking for answers and a savior to disease and the economic situation and all that. And there he is. Oh, hey, Max. It's not ringing yet. Hold on. It takes a minute to connect. It's not doing anything yet. Wait a minute. Ah, boy, oh boy. It ain't, hold on. It's not even doing what it's supposed to be doing. You're going to have to give me a minute to get the phone up. Because it's not, for whatever reason. That's strange. Give me a second. Give me a second, Max. As if anything else couldn't go wrong today. Okay. One more time. I'm still waiting. Oh, man. Oh, this is bullcrap. Thanks. Oh, you're funny. Um, all right, you can try it now. Just know that it takes a minute once you, because it's an internet connection, it takes a minute once you start dialing for it to ring on my end. Guided, not good, not got. Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, everybody needs to learn to trust in God. Okay, it's not ringing here yet, but it always takes a minute. Nothing yet. Still not ringing here. Hmm. Did you hang up? Hang up and try again. Hang up and wait like a minute, and then try again. Oh, okay. I see where I missed it, but it didn't ring. Okay. Yeah, I see where I missed the call, but it never rang on my end. It never showed any incoming calls either, because it has a visual and a sound. It did neither one, but it shows I missed it. That's weird. Okay. Oh, no, it isn't showing it. Okay, still nothing here. It's not even making a hang up sound, which it'll normally do that, even if the call doesn't come through and we don't hear it ring, we'll still hear a hang up. So this is weird. I don't know why it's doing this. Let me see something. Huh. Okay. Um, there's two of us. I don't know how I've not been able to figure out how to go live even. Wow. 70 years, 7 months, 7 days. Well, I'm trying it again. Okay. Oh, man. Anyway, so I got laid off today. I'm not having a good day. And this is all I need for this not to act right. Not like they don't get my money. Oh yeah, it's definitely there's definitely strange things in the sun and the moon and all the other stuff happenings related to scripture. Yeah, it's definitely not ringing right. I don't know what it's doing. All right, let me try something. So I don't know why it's acting up. hear you calling in. Mike and the Mechanics. Can you hear me calling? um, yes, this is strange. I don't know why. I mean, unless there's like too many people on Skype right now, you know, I don't know if the internet's bombarded or something. Oh, okay. let me let me try that. See if that works. Um,
Hello.
are you there?
Hello. I'm here.
Can
How
you
are
hear
you?
me?
I can hear you.
It says we're connected.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. I'm on a delay. Let me turn my TV down. There we go. Now I have no
It
background
shows we're
noise.
connected. Can you
And
hear me?
yes, I can, and I can see the chat as well. Mm-hmm. I'm on one phone talking to you and looking at the chat on the other. How are you this evening, Judy?
Hello? Did it
Hello.
ring on your end?
It did. I'm talking to you now. Can you hear me? I can hear you on my end, Judy. Can you not hear me? Question mark.
It's I called the number. You can hear me on your end? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you on your end. On
No, I
my
can't hear
end.
you, so let me
Wait a
hang
second. Let me
up and
check
let
and
me fix
no,
the adjustment thing
no,
on it.
don't hang up.
For
Oh,
whatever
hello,
reason
hello,
it's
hello,
doing.
hello,
Okay.
hello, hello. Can you hear me now?
So let me hang
Did I
up
hear it
and let
muted?
me fix the adjustment thing. See, my brain ain't even working tonight. Too much stress. All right. Oh, I want to go to settings. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, you know, I guess this is par for the course of how my day has went. Anyway. Okay, so I want to fix the audio. Okay, so test. the test isn't working. Okay. Okay, let me try changing. Okay. Test. Why don't I have any sound at all? Oh, now I do. Okay. All right. So testing. All right. So let me try again. It should be ringing on your end.
Hello.
Hey, I got a voice. All right.
All right. All right. And I can hear you, and I can see the chat.
All right. So where are you from?
I'm sorry.
Where are you from?
I'm calling from South Central North Carolina, just northeast of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I used to go down there like once a month to visit my friend that lived in Charlotte.
What part of Charlotte do you remember?
Well, there was two different ones. One was Matthews County, right outside of Charlotte, and then the other one was somewhere in Charlotte, and I don't even remember the street. I don't even have my old phone with the GPS in it. But
Yeah, Matthews is a nice area.
yeah, I actually went downtown and took pictures of downtown while I was down there, just because I'd never been there by the raceway and stuff.
The raceway. Do you mean the Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's out there. That's funny. It's in Concord, and they call it the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that's right.
Bruton Smith did all that. It was quite funny, actually. He proposed all this stuff, and Cabarrus County and the city of Concord kind of bucked on him. So he said, okay, fine. And he looked he was going to build another racetrack elsewhere. And they gave him. He said, well, I'll just pick up my show and leave. And they had no leverage. So they did exactly what Bruton wanted.
Right.
He's tied in with the Hendricks. We have a lot of those dealerships here, Honda, Chevy, all that. And the let me think of that. Yeah, the Hendricks. You talk about some crooked people, honey. I hurt my back as a plumber, and I had, my doctor said, you need a job where you can get up and walk when you want to, and you can sit down when you want to. So I became a car salesman for Toyota. And the sales manager that hired me was like, man, you're just going to sell the hell out of trucks. He was dead wrong. I sold Camrys to women, and like nobody's business. Because I simply went out there and talked to them like they didn't have a husband. All the other makes showed us pigs, They had just run them off. I just say, ma'am, I'm a plumber. I'm just here to negotiate the deal between the tower and you. You want a car? Let's do it. Are you with me, Judy?
I hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I was quite successful at it, but it took, 6 hours a day, 13, 14 hours a week with trying to raise children at the same time. My wife wasn't too pleased with that. She said, you need to come off that damn car sale and get your ass back to work. God, my back hurts,
man.
Yeah. But that's what I love, so I got back on the high rises.
Yeah, I was a brick mason.
I went straight to the Bobcat Arena. One of the top 3 supervisors on that build. That's why I know buildings can't fall like that. It's pining on me since every day since then. I guess the first 8 years I had to finish raising my children, so I had to push that back and still work within the beast system that I knew was a lie. They pined on me bad. I knew planes couldn't fly through buildings like that because I understand metal earth. I'm a metal earth, or however you say that. I know how to form metal. I know how to melt it together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, you can't do that with aluminum. Stop. So we pined on me for a long time, Judy. It really did. And then when the market crashed, the housing market, I'd gotten off the high-rise stuff and I'd opened my own smaller company instead of doing the contracting, the big stuff as a field engineer. And I was in the housing business and small restaurant building business, and it was just bang money, bam, just work everywhere. You could literally name your price, really, and that crashed. So I had a moment to pick my nose up off the grindstone, and my children, my youngest was about to go to college. And I went, wow, I got a moment. And what the hell is that in the sky? See, I live out in the middle of the country. There's no planes over my house. And they were everywhere. And they were leaving a checkerboard sky. Yeah. This is when I went in to get a cortisone shot, and I was looking out the window, and my orthopedic, one of the team, I had three. I had my elbow worked on by a microsurgeon named Pat Connor, and I had my back worked on by a microsurgeon named Dr. Craig Brigham. And the guy that did cortisone shots and that kind of stuff, he was a real nice guy, Dr. Vandenor. I was there to get a cortisone shot, and I'm looking out the window, and he sidles up to me, and he puts his hand on my shoulder, because we were pretty good friends by this time, all the work they'd done on me. And he said, boy, that's some crazy weather we're having. I'm like, what in the world? And he says, oh, you know about that, huh? And this was 2010. And he proceeded to tell me that they had assassinated Dr. Craig Brigham. He had gone to Denver to study nanotechnology, and when he returned, he was livid because he knew what they were doing. They were poisonous with that shit. Excuse my language. And he began to tell anybody and everybody, every church group, every civic center, well, whoever would listen, he would present his evidence. And they warned him to shut up, and he didn't. He was an honorable man. He wasn't about to warn his people, because that's culpability. If you see danger afoot, you don't tell your people. Culpability. So, yeah,
well,
that blew
yeah,
my mind.
everyone's going to answer to God in the end. All
Yeah,
the
that
ones
blew my
not
mind.
telling the truth
Dr.
and
Craig
the ones
is
telling
Dr.
lies,
Craig. He's
all...
standing at the right hand of our Creator. You can guarantee that. So, you can imagine how that hit me. That hit me hard. So I've been doing this in his honor and in my little buddy, Matt Patterson. He was my favorite best friend, and it was funny. His young wife, finally told Matt one day, you need to just shut up and listen to Chris. Every time you're not around him, you say, golly, I need to listen to Chris. He's my best friend. We can come over here and argue with him. It was so funny. And we lost him. And his poor young widow is raising his two boys. She was pregnant with his second child. She was about 2 months to delivering when he ate something that disagreed with his Lyme disease that he had caught from a weaponized tick out of Plum Island. So I've lost two very close friends to this battle, this war. And it's tough. It's really tough. But I since then, I've done a lot of studying about the nanotech and how it's activated through the different frequencies and all that stuff. And I've come to understand that this firepower that they have within that HR 2881, that's the 5G Security Act Trump signed on the 23rd of March. It is the firepower the feathered serpent dragon has given to the beast. And we're watching it burn this place down. Period.
Well,
I'll hush up. If you have any questions, I haven't been watching the chat.
my 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 thoughts on the things that are going on is that regardless of who's done what, Scripture told us that all this was going to play out, and
Yeah.
we are there. And
Oh,
you
you better
know,
believe
if
it.
people don't see, verbatim Scripture playing out right in front of them, and
Yeah, they're following the books, aren't they, Judy?
yes, they are.
Yeah, they're following them books. Those wackadoodles, they know scripture far better than most
Well,
any
Satan,
other
come
people.
on, Satan could quote Scripture to Jesus.
Oh, you better believe he
You
can.
know, he would.
Yeah.
He
What is
was.
it? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What is it? I lost track. Go ahead, Judy. I apologize. I'll let you have the stage.
I don't even want the stage, but he anyway, yeah. Some of this stuff is man made. Some of this is part of it's all in Scripture anyway. So whether it's man made or it's natural causes from other things that man has done wrong, right, and created. Um, man made his own choice. Mankind made his own choice. We all made our own choices. And if you look at it like this, it's almost like God is saying, so the people that thought they were so great because they didn't need God, that they had a good job and they got a nice house and they got new cars every year and blase blase. Well, unfortunately, this hurts the working poor like me worse than it hurts anybody. But it's it's like giving everybody a moment to think. Oh well, nothing I have is really secure. You know, the doctors can't do their elective surgeries. The dentists can't do their stuff now. You know what I mean? So all that time in their life that they spent not caring about another human being and only getting what they could get, materialistic for themselves, and God saying, "Here you go. How you have security now? you didn't care about all those people. Let's see you deal with, what other people have been dealing with, and you walk right past them." So,
Yeah. What is it? How you like me now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he says it. He says it a little more eloquently, like
Right, right, right.
Go away from me. I never knew you," or something like
Yes, thank you. Yes.
that. Yeah. That has. Let's see. Well, shortly thereafter, and this, that, and the other, finding out all that, and after kind of having a midlife crisis a little bit, settled in and found God. I mean, I'd always been a bit of an agnostic. You know, I always leaned towards. I knew that
There was something.
evolution or revolution, whatever they want to call it, with that Marxist baloney. I knew that wasn't it.
Right,
But what was it?
right,
Right?
right,
I knew that a cat and a goat can't make a goat cat. So we
right,
didn't evolve from monkeys, right?
right.
I knew that. I struggled with that. So I started. I went to different. I was raised Catholic at a very young age, and then I think it was the '70s when the pedophile stuff hit pretty hard. My mother pulled out all 5 of her boys,
Right,
and I was maybe 10 at that time, something like that.
right,
So I had a little bit of that. So I started going around to different denominations, different churches. I just go in and sit down. It just all everywhere. Each Sunday I'd go to a different, sit down. And what I heard everywhere I went was prosperity, was consumerism. And I thought, I know Santa Claus is anagram for Satan's claws, which is consumerism. So I could, I'm like, wow. And then when I started studying law, I found out about the corporate person and the 50C13s and realized that those buildings were enterprises that were co-opting the church, the people.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't go to them. I don't go to organized enterprises. You know, just no. No, you can keep your organized enterprises.
Right. There's a few small churches, and there may be a few bigger ones that are really trying to preach the word, and they really.
Earpiece fell out, and I didn't get to hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, I said there's probably there's a few small churches and a few bigger churches that actually are trying to teach God's word and are doing good things. You know what I mean? But
oh yes, ma'am.
but on the
please don't take anything I say as a generalization.
okay, right,
Uh,
right. I'm the same way.
yeah.
I don't generalize. I know that there's good out there, and so yeah, but I like to clarify it when we're speaking on something that's people don't think that it's an all category.
Oh yes, I'm with you 100%. 100%.
So y'all's governor
I haven't found a building where the church gathers in my area like that.
Right.
Now, Global Witness, I believe it is Global Witness. Yeah, I believe his name is Derek. He always wears like a not a vinyl, that fancy, slick, silky looking tunic or toque is what my mother would call it. Anyways, I'm Global Witness, and yeah, he's wow. When I really need some inspiration or the good word or to understand something, I can go to his channel, and it might be completely off topic, but just ask something in the comments, and wow, I mean, I found it to be quite enlightening over there. Not to say that that's where I go every time, and that's the only person that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a pretty. I want to go check him out. Global Witness, and you know it's him. He's a handsome fella. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's got a goatee, and he always wears a nylon. Is that it? Looking kind of cap over his head. No brim or anything like that. I'm thinking maybe he's bald.
Okay.
When I shaved my head, I used to wear something on my head all the time. I've got a receding hairline so far back, I might as well be bald.
Well, I used to tell men that when they had, a receding hairline and they were always trying to cover it up, I'm like, just shave your head, because bald men are, the bald heads, it's a nice look. So if you have a receding hairline that doesn't look good, because some of them still look okay, but when you're not comfortable with it, shave it off.
Yeah, when I shaved my head and grew my Fu Manchu, my nickname became Mr. Big Sexy. I'm not bragging. I'm telling the truth. Yeah, it was a pretty good look on me. But I was in my prime.
Hey, Telly Savalas used to rock that bald head and that lollipop. Do you remember him? Are you old enough to know who he is?
You, baby.
Okay.
Who loved you? Who loved you?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sitting here looking at that picture of you looking up into the sky. I tell you, you're quite striking, young lady. Yeah. Strikingly beautiful. Mm-hmm. And again, my name is Chris Judy. And you're in Virginia?
Yep.
Yeah. What part of Virginia?
Huh?
What part? I did a lot of work in Richmond.
Virginia Beach.
I had friends in Virginia. Your accent is nothing like theirs in Virginia Beach.
Really? Nobody in Virginia Beach has an accent. We don't have an accent. You do.
Yes, ma'am. I certainly do. Yes.
Well, that's what everybody says. I went to, I was on my way to, I think we were on our way to Florida, and I pulled into a gas station in South Carolina. And this is before GPS. And I asked the girl directions or something. Lord, I couldn't understand her. Her accent was so thick. And I'm like, I know this is supposed to be English, but And then I used to help people remove viruses off their computers, right, over the phone. And I got this one girl on there, and she was either from Alabama or, yeah, Alabama or South Carolina too. And because Georgia's accent ain't even like that, but her accent was so bad, I was like, it was so hard to help her because I'm having her read certain files to me, right? And I'm trying to take her into DOS to type the commands. And I would have her repeat back to me what I said to make sure she typed the right things. Because, you get in DOS and put in the wrong commands and, So anyway, I couldn't understand her. It was so difficult. It took like 8 hours to do something that would have took an hour. Are you still there? Hello?
I'm sorry, I had my mute on.
Oh.
I had a coughing fit, so I had to mute you.
Oh,
Yes,
so you were
ma'am,
talking to
it is
yourself,
so
huh?
funny. Now get this, Judy, you're gonna love this little story. Okay, my parents and my 3 older brothers are Canadian citizens.
Right.
My dad got a green card to come here to play hockey in Charlotte. Well, what they did, what the franchise did, was they sent 2 Lincolns up there. And to pack out all it, don't worry about furniture or anything. We'll have all that for you. Just have your family packed and ready to go. Well, as they crossed the line, the guy said, "Oh, we're just going to visit. We'll be back in a week." Well, that got the whole family into America from Canada. And my mother was pregnant with me. So I know it's called an anchor baby. Because my mother snuck across the border to have me. Now here's the kicker: when those below the Mason or below the the river down there that separates us from Mexico, the Rio Grande, those below the Rio Grande, south of the Rio Grande, they can make $5 a day, or they can get their boots wet and make $50 a day on the northern side.
Right.
Now, I used to think to myself, any man with his salt would be drying his boots every night on his wood stove, right?
Right.
Any man with his salt, any man.
Yeah.
So when
Or
they started filtrating into the trades up here,
right,
one of the last trades were the mechanical trades, the technical trades.
Right.
Well, as they started coming into that, I mean, these guys are sharp because you have to be to do mechanical work. And I'm hearing the guys in my ditches. I was a supervisor 4 years after I started down here. I wasn't going to be the guy in the ditch all day. And so they would start bitching about that. I'd be like, look, them anchor babies and this, that, and the other, yeah, they're going to take your job. And they're like, oh, damn. And I'm an anchor baby, and I told you to get back in the damn ditch or I'll let them take your job. Oh, you said just, I got a kick out of that shit.
Yeah, you can't be mad at anybody that is trying to survive,
if a man is trying to better themselves,
work,
honey,
they're trying to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, I can't, but some people are so, but like I said, God is, this is what we're going through now is a big deal, and the ramifications from this, and then you got to add on, you got to realize that we're going to have more catastrophes on top of what we're going through right now. We still got tornadoes that are going to tear up towns. I still think we're going to have a tsunami. We got meteorites that are going to come in. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff in scripture is going to play out. And it's gonna be bam, bam, bam. It's not gonna be years will go by and things will be great again, and then something else happens. We're too far into this now.
When you mentioned prophecy and man, God's hand and man's hand, when you sit back and look at the synchronicities and what some people would call coincidence theory,
right,
and you start using math against it. Okay, an event is an event, and two similar events are a coincidence. In the third, we see a pattern.
Right,
In
exactly.
mathematics, when we put mathematics to that third, it gets improbable.
Right.
When we get to the fourth similar coincidence, it becomes nearly impossible mathematically. And then by the time you get to the fifth one, it is impossible. If anything is impossible other than in God's hands.
Right, right.
So then we have to understand there's more than man's hand involved at that point.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So from what I've seen in the sky, this is something that's I found is I don't know, it's just totally, it's like I'm backwards. I'm coming at things from a totally different direction.
Hey, well, reverse engineering solves a lot of problems. So,
Yes, okay. Right. So, okay. Just simply from life experiences, I'm coming from another direction. I barely made it through high school because I knew I was going to be a mechanical contractor. What I needed was math, English, and get me the hell out of here because I got a job to do. I've got a trade to learn. I've got an apprenticeship to get through. Right?
Right.
And what I need is English and math. That's what I need in here. I don't need your social studies. I'm pretty good at that. I know how to socialize. Leave me alone. That's the best way to do it. Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. And if you're doing something to harm an innocent, I'm going to chop your head off, you damn viper. That's the way I feel about it, period. That like the good book says, or, do not kill. Well, I got news for you. If I see a rapist, I'm killing him. And I'll stand at the hand of God in righteousness after killing that viper. I know this. So they're lying to us. You have to understand the book is full of lies and it's full of good. It is a book of good. I've never read it all the way through.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you believe the words that Jesus spoke?
The words that Jesus spoke?
Yeah.
Those are the ones I concentrate on. The rest are just garbage.
So I'm just gonna interject my opinion on that.
Absolutely.
On the one thing you said, and it's it's merely my opinion, but okay, Jesus taught us forgiveness and not to hate one another, right? So if you see someone doing a bad act, killing them, unless it's in the moment, unless there's no other choice in that moment, if you could stop them without killing them and maybe chop off that body part that's offending them. You know what I mean? But
yes,
I understand. I'm going to defend somebody too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I mean, we have to defend the innocent. We have to.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't, you're culpable.
Yes.
In the harming of that.
Yeah, absolutely. See, right.
So you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. Do not kill is a crock of baloney. That's why I think it that way. Because and listen, turning the other cheek and walking away from a viper, you're culpable in every strike thereon that viper makes. Period. You had a chance to chop that viper's head off. So how many children? I mean, they're slick. These assholes are slick. So you might talk to them for 4 days and be convinced that they're just, you changed them, and the next day they go out and do it again. So I take the chance. You caught them once. Chop that damn head off.
Actually, if I had control of the world, I would have just had some place to put them all, and let God deal with them when he's ready for them. Let them die in His time, and let Him deal with them for their.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
I think of the blocks. I think of the blocks in public. Where they got your head and your hands through the holes in the wood.
Right.
And people can either feed you tomatoes or throw tomatoes at you, one or the other. That's a wonderful idea.
Is.
For those that harm the innocent.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a cute idea. But because I have to remember what happened with Saul. Okay, Saul
Okay.
was leading Christians to slaughter, right?
Okay.
Okay, he hated.
I'm not real familiar with his story, so this is
Okay,
I'm glad.
so Saul was leading Christians to slaughter, and he was on his way to to Damascus, and God stopped him and made him blind, right? And gave him a vision of whatever, and then gave him his sight back. And he then became a disciple, opening up churches around the world. So if God can take a man that hated Christians and hated Jesus Christ and was leading them to slaughter and turn him into something good for the glory of the kingdom, that tells me that um, we don't, it's not up to us to judge certain things. That God can take anything and turn it into good for the, you know what I mean? And
Yes, I do.
so I'm careful on. And I used to be a really get even person, and I prided myself on that. You know, it wasn't even getting even. I had to top whatever injustice I thought was done. I mean, I had to, but my whole intent in all of it was always to make the person never do it again, right? I'm like, they'll never
Yes,
try this
ma'am.
on anyone again. And
Yes, ma'am.
but it still was vengeance.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's just my opinion. That's what. And then Jesus always taught about the one lost sheep. And obviously a lot of people out here doing bad things are I mean, some are clearly evil. Okay, don't get me wrong. There are some people that are clearly evil, you know, they're serving Satan. That's a whole nother ball game. But the people that are lost out here doing stupid, bad, and even sometimes mean things to other people, well, then we have to pray on and stop them from doing what they're doing, but we can't take their life. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I understand. And all right, this is I don't know. It's on topic. I don't know if yeah. Well, let me say it anyway. Are you familiar with Ophusis? Ophucus. Ophucus. The
No,
13th. The 13th zodiac sign.
no.
Okay. Well, it's actually the 12th zodiac sign of the lunar calendar, and it's a 13-month calendar, and it's a 13 zodiac sign calendar. And it's actually the 12th. It's in between Sagittarius and whatever comes before Sagittarius. What is that? Capricorn that
Scorpio.
becomes. I'm
Oh,
sorry?
right. No, 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 no. Yeah, no. It's Sagittarius. It's Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn is how the order goes.
Okay. It's in between.
No, wait a minute. Am I wrong? No. Let me think. Yeah, no. Sagittarius is after Scorpio, and then Capricorn.
Okay. What comes before Sagittarius?
Scorpio.
Okay. Actually, Ophucus comes before that. It is the 12th sign. They call it or they speak of it on the GUJL Quantum Computer Ministry of Truth. They call it the 13th sign. It's not. In the procession, as the sun goes through the houses throughout the year, the 13th or the 12th sign is Ophucus. Well, now, if you go look him up, he is a viper slayer, and he is in St. Michael's army. And get this now. This is great. I was born 1960, December 4th, dead center of Ophucus, which is the smallest house because, anyways, yeah, on a full moon. I'm like, what? Where the hell? Okay, and come on out, he's a serpent slayer. Is this why? I'm not kidding. This is true, and I didn't know that, of course, until I looked into Ophucus and the whole biblical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what brought me to that? Okay, I find that a lot of people, or especially my younger friends, I was born on the cusp of Gen X and baby boomers, so I really don't fit into either. Right on the cusp. So my younger generation, the Gen Xers, oh gosh, they just can't imagine looking up and seeing a blue Kachina, and neither can the baby boomers because we've been taught this bullshit solar mechanics. You see? Well, now, if the solar mechanics we were taught in high school and college and everything, both generations now, if they are correct, how can the moon's crest be any farther out of vertical than 5 degrees? Because the moon travels around the Earth 5 degrees off of the Earth's and Sun's ecliptic.
Right.
So it can't be out of vertical. The demarcation at a half moon cannot be more than 5 degrees. It actually works out to about 5.6. So, okay, 5.5 degrees. Can't be. And now we see it laying on its butt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now listen to me. So here's something's happened in the last since that August 21st, 2017 eclipse.
Yep.
Something has happened, and that moon, our moon, is now electromagnetically interacting with either the sun being in a different position or another celestial body.
Let me trip you out for a second. Okay.
Yes,
because you're old enough to know this. You know that our sun and our moon did not used to be that bright white craziness that it is now, right?
Oh, I missed my golden sunrise.
Okay.
Or sun rays.
Check this out.
They were warming and comforting.
Yes. It was
stinging
golden. Yes.
Yeah.
And now the
as a
moon
little
burns
boy,
in your eyes. You look away from the moon and you got the moon burnt in your eyes for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, check this out. Isaiah 30:26. Do you know it?
Cool. No, ma'am.
The moon will become as the sun, and the sun will become 7 times brighter as 7 days as sevenfold.
There you go.
It's in the Bible. Isaiah 30:26.
Now, getting back to part of it being man mimicking God's creation and God's power, man mimicking it.
Right, because that's what Satan loves to do.
Absolutely. He can mock. He loves to mock.
Yeah.
I found when I mock his jinns that he sends against me, they run from me. Mock them. When you mock them, you'll see when you resonate differently after becoming a new Christian. I found this to be absolute, or a new creature, just so true. Jinns run from those who are possessed with the Devok. Are you familiar with the word Devok?
I'm familiar with jinns a little bit.
Dijinn. Think of I Dream of Genie. That's a jinn.
Right.
What do they go through? NASA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, deceit. NASA means in Hebrew means to deceive.
Right. Okay.
All right. Think about Devok. Devok. It's in Hebrew. It's pronounced Devok. It sounds like the book. Okay. It's spelled D-I-V-O-C. Now invert those letters. What do you have?
COVID.
Correct. Do you know what the word Devok in old, they call it Paleo Hebrew is what they call it, but it's Hebrew without the vowels is what it is. But yet we're using the vowels now.
Well, yeah, when I look up Hebrew, I look it up without the vowels.
It means to be possessed by a demon. Now, how I learned this, and I've had a lot of people come back to me and say they've looked it up all they could on the Ministry of Truth quantum computer Google, and they just can't find that definition. Well, I just send them back to the man that told me.
Right.
He's at 5G awareness, and he is an Israeli, and he speaks perfect Hebrew, and he says, well, I'm telling you what the hell it means. So we have that. Now, going on the same train of thought, Have you ever heard of the group or corporation called COVIDian?
No.
Okay, COVIDian controls the vast majority of every medical protection device sold. Have we sold a few of those here lately?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Yes, ma'am. Now, who owns COVIDian? When we look into the financials, who owns COVIDian? Because you can find the names. They have to publish it. It is Commerce. The Carlyle Group. You familiar with that name?
Yeah.
Okay, now you got your COVIDian default, don't we?
Right.
What did he say? The old GW? What did he say? Do you not know there's an angel in this whirlwind guiding this storm? Did he not?
Yeah.
You remember that speech? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there you go. All right. Well, let's keep going. So you got the COVIDian group and you got the default inverted. And you know Lucifer loves turning everything upside down backwards.
Right.
We also have the toilet paper mean think viral virus that went through us, right? Our people collectively.
Right.
The world. All right. Well, who owns the vast majority of the production and distribution of toilet paper? Do you know?
The same people?
No, ma'am. The Koch brothers.
Oh.
You ever heard of the KOCK
No.
brothers? The Koch brothers?
No. Oh, Coca-Cola, yes.
No.
Oh.
KOCH. Just type them in the computer right there. Koch brothers. Their grandfather is a well-known Nazi. Let's just say that. And the Bushes. I mean, you know, Ford sold all the machinery that were under the hoods of those war machines coming out of Germany, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and BMW, British Motor Works, built the plane engines. And Standard Oil was the only one that had the additive that was required in those engines. So the war machine could not have gone on without Ford and Standard Oil. Who owns Standard Oil? The people that own the Carlyle Group.
Right.
Mm-hmm. This is the Sixth Reich. Bush was the Fifth Reich. And the Sixth Reich, they have the sixth wing of the military now, don't they? What's that? That's Space Force.
Yeah, I'm looking up these brothers you were talking about.
The Koch brothers.
Yeah.
They own that. Oh, did they make a little bit of money or what? This is all planned. This is a pandemic. Have y'all seen the latest publication of the New England Medical Journal? You know, that's the top affluent medical journal in the Western world, right? New England Medical.
Yeah.
Are you familiar?
They contribute to the Merck Manual, and I used to buy the Merck Manual every year.
Well, you know, they have a publication. What is it, bi-weekly or every month or whatever, right? Well, their latest publication. Have you read what Dr. Fauci? You know that, or Fauci?
Yeah.
That's not his real name, by the way. That's mockery. He's fucking you, and he's fucking you.
Let's not use that word, please.
I guarantee it. That is not his. That is a corporate name. That's a character. Just like Trump is a brand. It's not his name. Okay. It's not the man's name. Y'all get over that. He is a character. He's a corporate character, just like Jesse the Body Ventura. The man ran for office with the name Jesse Ventura on the ballot and signed law as a corporate wrestling character. It's not law. That's corporate rules and statutes. Are you corporate human resource? Because if you are, they need to lower their carbon output, and their human resources are their biggest liability. So if they get rid of their human resource, carbon footprint, they all earn carbon taxes. Am I getting to anybody yet? Judy, I'm not kidding. Did you
Yeah,
hear what I just said?
yeah,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
still goes back to the same thing. No matter who's doing what right now, it
Yeah.
all relates to Scripture.
Of course. Yeah. That,
You know,
that's not being argued in any way, Judy. I'm not
six
arguing that
thousand
with
years
you
ago,
one
this was
bit.
all foretold.
I am not arguing with you on that one bit. No, man. I am with you 100%. They are following those books. Yeah. By the letter, by the number.
Well,
You better believe it. Yes, they are. And they are waiting on the dates patiently.
and God. So God used people to do His work, right? He used
Okay, say that again.
God used humans to do some of His work, like
Oh,
Moses
absolutely.
and Noah
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Job and Joseph and his disciples and even Saul that was leading Christians to slaughter. So it just makes sense that God and Satan both are going to be using people in the end days to do their work to make this come to fruition. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. Have you? I've looked back. I forget who it was that guided me there. They showed a few, and of course I went and looked from there. And this was a while. This was before the internet had become so terribly throttled and purged. The book burnings today are just. I mean, the bonfires are. I don't know how people can even stand it, the heat. But I found coins, and a lot of them, all around the world. Moses had horns. It's protected. I mean, the coins with that man's face depiction. He has horns. Horns. So I've got my misconceptions or my how you say, I don't know. Yeah, I got my reservations about the New Testament. I've read some of it. I've seen, people have told, this, that, and the other. And that right there is one of the most disgustingly brutal manuscripts I have ever read. Yeah.
The New
Yeah, I'm not really
Testament or the
into
Old
I'm not
Testament?
really, hang on a minute, Judy. I'm not really into the blood sacrifice thing. Like I hear Christians say, I'm washed in his blood. I was washed in my mother's blood. I'm not washed in anybody else's blood. And if I am washed in somebody else's blood, it's because they're trying to kill me, and I'll go out washed in their
Okay,
blood if I
but
have
they
to.
use that as a metaphor because
Correct.
because
Correct.
because because once, see, the wage for sin was death, right? And once Jesus came here, okay, they were using animals for the sacrifice, right? And that was
Yep. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So once Jesus came, which all this was foretold in the Old Testament, and he fulfilled 303 of those prophecies from the Old Testament. So there's no question that he was the Messiah. Okay. Um, Once he came and once he died on the cross for our sins, and he went and took the keys from death, he went down below. There's two levels to hell. He went down below and he released the people that were there, and he took the keys for death, meaning once he died on the cross, once he was resurrected, and he said, oh Satan, where's the sting of death, to paraphrase, right? Anyway, so what they mean when they say I'm washed in the blood of Jesus is, okay, so back before Jesus, the sacrifice was the blood of a spotless animal, one that they didn't think had flaws. And once Jesus came, all that changed, and there was no more sacrificing of anything. If you lived like you were supposed to and accept Jesus as your Messiah, then there is no more blood sacrifices. There's no more, you know what I mean? So when they say that, it's like a metaphor for You know, I don't like to say it either. It bothers me when I hear it, but I know what it, what they mean by it. Are you still with me? You put yourself on mute again?
Did? Yeah, there we are. Yes, I did. Okay, then I was just talking away after you said, well, you know what I mean? And you were like, I can't hear you. Okay, let me get my thoughts again. Okay, blood sacrifice. He was the last.
Yes. Yes.
Period.
Right.
And words are very powerful, right?
Yeah.
So they have spun those words into washed in his blood as opposed to washed in his grace.
Right. I agree. Like I said, I don't like it when I hear it.
I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking it. I believe that their hearts are in the right place.
Right.
I truly do.
Right.
I just want them to understand how powerful words are.
Right.
So, right, and the blood sacrifice. Now that leads me to something else that I found in my last 10 years. See, I literally quit. I quit and went into study. Call me whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I became a damn monk for the last 10 years. I mean, I'm a very extroverted man, but I literally shut myself off to the vast majority except my closest inner circle. And the way I did that was to give everyone, I'd always done this in the first place, but I don't judge a person. My mother taught me that. You don't judge the outside. You give them a minute and you trust and see if it's returned. And I have a metaphor. I give them enough rope.
Right.
And if they hang themselves, there you go. I missed what could have come if I hadn't. Right.
Right.
I may have lost that little bit, but did I really? I gained so much in the end. So risk reward.
Right.
But what I found was something truly incredible. In all the ancient writings, that's never spoken about is a very important. There's knowledge of grains. Grains. We're talking about blood sacrifice now, and no more needing of blood.
Right.
Last one. We're washed in His grace. Walk in His way, His Father's way. That's
right.
our way,
That's
our
right.
Father's way.
That's right.
Right? Yes, ma'am. So I found 3 noble grains, like we have our noble metals.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know we had noble grains and what they are? Well, I'm not tell you what they are, but did you know that? I didn't. I had no idea. The 3 noble grains are these: millet, and there's many, many millets. There's black, gold, yellow. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way to make bread, porridge, and the like. And it's grown around here a lot. So I've got good seed of many, and it's hard to find now. People are smartening up. They control wheat. You have to have a permit to grow it. Well, I've got wheat, and it's non-GMO seed, and come get me. Anyways, I live in a farming area, agricultural area, and yeah. Oh, I meant to. They're good people,
right.
And there's always food around. There's a lot that are growing with GMO, but I think they're smartening up to that because that crashed. Nobody wanted it. They were claiming that, such and such couldn't afford bullshit. Nobody wanted it. That's why everybody's grain houses were full and it wasn't going nowhere. And when they flooded it all, it went everywhere, and they made a big deal about it. We didn't want it anyway. It's poison. Get rid of it. But getting back to the grains. Millet, rice, and soma. You ever heard of soma?
Mm-mm.
Me neither. I had never heard of soma, but I had partaken in that grain often. And it has really, really been wonderful for my family. It's anything from the most industrial hemp, which has the longest and the strongest natural fiber in the world. The foliage is fabulously nutritious, and the seeds are, packed full of every, you name it, antioxidant, all those stuff, proteins, fatty acids that we need. So between those 3 noble grains, man never has to sacrifice another animal, ever. You know who lived by those three noble grains. And we've been taught they were barbaric. The Mongolians on the Russian steppes. Everywhere they went, they planted those three grains, and they followed the seasons. They weren't warring people like we were taught. Everything's been flipped upside and backwards, upside down, ass backwards. They're lying to us. So I know for a fact that cannabis, I can take a high grade cannabis that is at least 85% on the indica strain. You got sativa and indica. Indica has no oxygen connected to the tetrahydrate cannabinol molecule. Sativa does. That oxygen gives you a pick-me-up. So if you use sativa, it's like a cup of coffee. And
Right.
it really will clear your mind. And indica, it makes you hungry and sleepy. Well, I know for a fact that I can take a strain of indica and I can bring it down in a rice cooker in a jar so that the product does not touch the non-stick, in water in a rice cooker with pure grain alcohol and my mash, which would be of this indica, and bring it down to an oil. And this oil is coined Rick Simpson's oil. If you want to look at it online, that's easy to find. Now, I can't say that. See, they'll lock me up for saying that word, the C word. But it eliminates, it eradicates 85%. At a go home, you're on the fourth stage, get your stuff together, you got more to live. 85% of those people are alive today, and Rick's been doing it for 20 years. That's just one way I know to do that. So I also know that whole AMA alchemy is satanic because they hide that from us. Okay? All right, that's one thing. And that's soma. So we got the industrial hemp that we never have to cut another tree. We never have to burn another thing of oil because we have all of that power right there in that plant. As it goes all the way into cannabis, from hemp to cannabis, we get into the medicinal properties. And I know that it eradicates cancer like a mother.
Okay,
it is a seek and destroy.
Let me ask you this.
Hemp oil does not do that. It does not have that property. It's highly beneficial, but it doesn't have the seek and destroy of the C word molecule in there. That's that tetrahydrate cannabinol. Now, there's another way to do this. It's called Laetrile, amygdala, or B17. You might be familiar. No? Okay.
B17?
It comes from the most powerful is the bitter almond. In the 50s, I'm sorry, early 70s, they outlawed bitter almond. My mother used bitter almond extract in her old European, coming from Canada, and her parents came from Europe, and my dad's parents came from Europe. She had some really old, and it called for bitter almond. And without that bitter in there, you didn't get that kick, right? And she was so mad when that stuff wasn't on. What on earth? Well, they went all the way through Northern California, and they grafted sweet almond onto all the black bitter almond trees. You can drive through those valleys and see those orchards and see where they grafted those trees and took out all the bitter almond. It's highest in B17. Then the next is apricot. Then the next is apple seeds. Apple seeds. Okay, well, I learned this. I'm like, well, by God. So I go on blog after blog after blog. I already know how to do it with the THC. But people can't do that because if they get peed at work, they'll lose a job or they might lose their insurance at their health. See what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. This way we can do it without endangering, using the cannabis. Did I get hung up on? Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, good. And I'm sorry I'm going on, but this is important because I'm telling everyone on this right here that I know, and many people know, and it's in my health playlist at my channel. If you go there, you'll see much of this. Okay, so my son's girlfriend in high school got ovarian cancer in her last year. And she just really loved my son because he didn't abandon her with her bald head and being sick all the time. He stuck by her. You know, it's last year. He could have went and got a girlfriend, you know, and went and party, but no. He sat at her house. She's battling cancer, chemo, all that. All right. After they got out of high school, she got it again. She battled it again. She through remission. And it came back a third time, and she called my son crying. And he said, well, you got to call my dad. So she called. She always called me Pops. She loved me. Or she does. And they should have married. He was a dummy. And, she was high maintenance, or she is. I don't know now. With a brush with death, sometimes that leaves you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She called me now, and she says, Pops, I got it a third time, and I'm not doing that stuff. It about killed me twice. I got a baby I got to raise. Or hell, I call her a baby. She's 5, 6 years old, her daughter. And she's like, I'm not doing it. And Joe told me to call you. I said, well, I got to get you on Rick Simpson's. Oh, immediately. Get your brother over here. I already got a batch made. It was going to a friend of mine that's got Parkinson's, but I could make another batch. She needed it immediately. And he's, you know, it's going to be careful with Parkinson's because it can also make him more dizzy. Just really careful with the dose. Anyways, but it does remove the plaque and they get better. I haven't seen them totally recover, but they do get better. And they get more and more tolerant each day, of course, of the, you know. Anyway, so I said, well, okay, here's what I want you to do. We have Aldi's, and they sell a lot of organic stuff. I said, go to Aldi's and buy every organic apple they have right now. Huh? yeah. What am I going to do with them? I said, you're going to cut them open, and you're going to harvest the seeds, and you're going to make me an apple pie. Come see me. What do I do with the? I can't eat that many apples. I said, no, honey, you're only eating the seeds. You're throwing apples away. You don't need apples. Sugar feeds the tumor.
Yep.
Stop with sugar. Stop with anything acidic. I want you going alkaline, and I'm going to show you where the playlist on the playlist when you bring your apple pie over here to me. Oh, okay, well, what do I do with all the apples? I said, feed them to the birds, make the apple pies. So we got a celebration coming shortly. She's like, oh, okay, whatever. So really, I should do that? Oh, yes. She called me back about 30 minutes later, and she's in Aldi's, and she says, Dad, I'm reading on here that stuff's got cyanide in it. I said, yes, ma'am, it does. Oh, my God. I said, you took chemo? You took radiation? You're worried about cyanide? She's like, oh, but Dad. I said, yeah, but look, listen to me. I want you to type in natural cyanide.
Nuts.
Yeah, what about, I'm sorry, hang on, natural cyanide.
Nuts.
Not cyanide that we have processed into the individual molecule, but natural cyanide. It only comes attached to another molecule. Only. Only when we process it do we have cyanide that we think of. Okay? That's the alchemy trick. Okay. So
well, nuts contain cyanide. If you eat, a person that eats too many nuts every day can get cyanide poisoning. Like if they, someone that eats nuts all day long every day.
It's in its natural form.
Right.
It will not release unless it meets an abnormal cell. So that's a misnomer. That's a wise tale. But listen to me. So it comes always in nature. It comes connected to another molecule. The same as aluminum. It's not free in nature. We free it.
Right.
Alchemists, metallurgists free that. That's a byproduct that they turned into an asset from a liability. The same with fly coal ash. When they say they're cleaning out a fly coal ash, what they're doing is trucking it to the airport so they can spray it on us. Because when they spray it in tight nozzles, it becomes nano aluminum, which passes the blood barrier. And the frequencies in the range that they've opened up also opens the blood barrier. So there you go. That's a double whippy whammy. So getting back to the molecule, it comes connected. It only releases its cyanide when it comes to an abnormal cell. That's what it does. That's
Right.
how it's done. And so I told her, I'm like, honey, how much you weigh? And she told me, and I told her how many, and a day. And you can set, this is your benchmark. If anybody's got cancer or anybody you know cancer, you need to go buy apples right now, all you can get, because you might not be able to get them shortly. And
Ain't
for
that
some
the
reason,
truth?
and for some reason, my apple trees are being attacked by whatever they're spraying. I mean, it's hurting my fruit. I mean, I used to be able to bring a 3-year sapling. Hell, it's just I should have put it in the ground yesterday or last year.
Well,
You know,
can I tell you?
Even know if I should put my 3rd year in the ground.
Can I tell you what I think? What I think's causing that? Okay, Scripture tells us that the sun is going to scorch the earth. It's already bleached out the coral reefs, and
yeah, radiation is hell, isn't it?
Yeah, and we got UVC radiation that's been penetrating the earth for the last couple of years to the ground.
Yeah,
it's also bouncing off the moon at night now. We're getting UVC radiation off the moon because it's so powerful. It's bouncing, right? So I believe some of this doesn't have to be man doing. You know, some of this is from the stuff that God said He was going to do, and these are the ramifications of what's being, what's happening.
Are you familiar with the Electric Universe property or project? Lyle Thornhill is one of the major physicists in that. Are you familiar with that project?
No.
The Electric Universe. Yeah. When 2 round magnetic balls are suspended in an ether, you can't get them to slam together. You can't do it because the roundness of the sphere and the south and north poles, as they get close, they equalize.
Right. Makes sense.
Now you do get, so you can't get them to slam together. I mean, you could force them. Right. You have to, this is how strong are the magnets.
Right, right.
But, and if you, say you take a magnet bar, like we used in school, and you beat that thing with a hammer, hammer stuff, it turns into a ragged ball. So electromagnetism, the vortex, naturally prefers to be in a spherical, oblique shape.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So when they say that worlds collide, no, it can't happen. Electromagnetic spheres cannot collide in each other. They can get close enough to each other and interact with each other. Now that's called a Birkeland current. That's the electromagnetic current you can see if you put a magnet in a pile of shavings. They will form that oblique circle.
Right. Well, what if you have one that's really, really big and much more powerful, and one that's small and not as powerful? It won't be pulled into it.
It will draw it in, yes, ma'am, and it will draw it in, but they will not collide. It'll draw it in fast, for instance, but they won't collide. And when they do get to that point, they will exchange electromagnetic plasma.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now you look at that. Look at that Grand Canyon. Okay. And then what I want you to think of is Machu Picchu. Think of the oldest structure you can imagine. They all have running water across that granite, and it hasn't touched it. Water don't cut through granite, ladies and gentlemen, not unless you put it in a nozzle and you push it through there at thousands of pounds of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Grand Canyon didn't get cut by that little river. That little river came to a gouge, a star,
absolutely
an
not.
electromagnetic star. Electromagnetic star is what that is, and there's many of them. The one in Africa is even bigger. We talk about the Grand Canyon; it's half the size of the one in Africa. We're told that Africa is about the size of Europe. Bullshit. You can put America, North America, and half of Europe, probably all of Europe, in Africa. They lie to us. They minimize the importance of that continent while they rake it. like the Belgians. If I knew where our rubber was coming from, I'd never bought another rubber product in my life. I'd be riding on wood wheels if I had to. What the Belgians did to those poor people. It's disgusting. And then when you start looking into who the true Semites are, I got news for you. The Levites, isn't that where the soothsayers are come from? The greatest priests, however you say that, from the Levi tribe? Right. Well, they're copper-necked. You know that, right? Their skin is the color. They're copper-neck. Okay? Who's that remind you of? Is there a guy named Kaepernick? Kaepernick? A guy named Kaepernick. Didn't he kneel? Put his fist up or whatever?
Did he what?
Are you with me, huh?
Yeah.
He kneeled, right? He kneeled. But I'm going to let you in on something. NFL, that spells Nephilim in Paleo Hebrew. So there you go. You got that. So you got those giant men battling on the gridiron. And he takes a knee, right? For the colors, right? Well, he is Kaepernick. He took that knee in Levi Stadium. Look at the dates he took that knee. It's all being brought to us in symbolism, y'all. And they're using characters. That's not his real name.
Right.
His real name is Lewis, his last name. He's the son of Huey P. Lewis. You recognize that name?
No.
He kidnapped Patty Hearst, remember?
Oh, was that his name?
The guy that started the Black Panthers?
Patty Hearst. That was the one that was that was Manson. Huh?
Huey P. Newton, I misspoke, not Lewis. Huey P. Newton. Look him up. Put their pictures side by
Patty
side.
Hearst was Patty Hearst. Yeah, hey Botter, how are you? I thought Patty Hearst was kidnapped by Manson.
The Black Panthers.
No, Manson.
She was kidnapped by the Black Panthers. Patty Hearst. Remember those pictures of her with the 7-headed cobra behind her, and she's holding a gun and all that stuff. And then they burnt half of Philadelphia down, burning them out.
Hold on.
I think it was Philadelphia.
Who was Patty Hearst kidnapped by?
Here's information from Wikipedia.
The chat's probably got it already pulled up. Huh? Huey P. Newton. Yeah, this is going to get real interesting, young lady. You're going to like this. You with me? Did I lose you, Miss Judy?
No, I'm just looking it up because I thought she was part of the maybe I'm thinking of somebody else famous that got kidnapped by Manson.
Yeah, that's Sharon Tate Holly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Kate LaBianca.
Okay, yeah. She was
Okay, so did you bring up Huey P. Newton, Black Panthers? Did you bring that up?
No. Where are we going with this?
Oh, you're gonna love it. Type in Huey P. Newton, Black Panthers, and go to images.
Just tell me where we're going with this, because
Oh, okay. We're going to characters on the world stage. The world is a stage, and I'm gonna show you one, and it's obvious as hell. And you're gonna be amazed where it leads back to. I promise. I'm not scaring you. You cutie, I'm looking at your picture again.
Huey Percy Newton was a revolutionary political activist who, along with fellow Merritt College student Bobby Seale, co-founded the Black Panther Party in 1966.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They kidnapped Patty Hearst, and it was in all the papers. You know, Hearst was a big newspaper oligarch. I mean, you own newspapers back then. You controlled all the narrative.
Yeah, I know.
So he was the big propagandist back then, right? Her daddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now pull up Colin Kaepernick and put their pictures side by side, honey. Oh, the nut didn't fall far from that tree. I mean, they look like, they could be brothers. Yeah. So, and getting back to the copper necks of the Levi tribe, he took a knee in Levi Stadium. And what date did he take that knee?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, it's all leading back there. All right, now, Patty Hearst. You pull up Cullen's picture and put them side by side. I wish you could screen share to the audience to show. Oh, they can bring it up themselves at home. Not kidding, y'all. This is weird. This is crazy. So, remember the Bundy Ranch debacle?
Yep.
Okay, I'm looking into the Bundy Ranch debacle, and I'm an old boy. I ride an iron horse, but I'm a cowboy kind of. I raise livestock. I hang out with farmers. I hang out with ranchers. I've been known to chase a cow back into a field with my Jeep. Anyways, I'm looking into that, and I'm like, God damn, something ain't smelling right here. It's just something. Of course, I don't trust any damn thing I see on all that crap. And they moved it up to Oregon, didn't they? Remember when they went up to Oregon and they went into that federal building up there on land, on government land, BLM controlled land? You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I looked into who owns the state of Oregon. It's a Corporation of Oregon. Hearst. He owns Washington and Oregon. And what the hell's their name? Getty. Gordon Getty owns California. But anyways, so I get to looking into the characters at the Oregon Federal Building standoff, where Lavoy Finnecane was shot by the FBI. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I see this lady named Shauna Cox. Look that one up. With a U. She spelled it with a U. Shauna Cox. I recognize that lady. Oh, did I recognize that lady? And I pulled up Patty Hearst's picture. Yeah, they're the same person. That's another psyop. All from the Hearst publishing dynasty. I call them dynasties. That's exactly what that was. So I look into that a little further, and I think it's the Ferguson riots near St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I start looking into that, and I'll be goddamn if I don't recognize a ton of those people in that damn audience. Yes, sir. And it's Norman Lear production. That was a Norman Lear production. No shit. Now, how can they get away with lying to us like this? You ever heard of the Smith-Mundt Act?
The Smith what?
Smith-Mundt. M-U-N-D-T. Smith-Mundt Act.
No.
It came into law after we came back from Vietnam. Voice of America, I believe it was, that they would be, they just loudspeaker that over there into the Vietnam, into the people. They made that law so they couldn't propagandize the American people like that. They made a legal division between, if you're going to call yourself a news thing, you got to you can be held liable if you lie or if you misrepresent.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you had entertainment. So there was a clear legal line. That's what the Smith-Mundt Act did. It was gutted. 2012 NDAA Act, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, was signed at 11:30 by lightning. That's what Barack means. It means lightning. Signed by lightning at 11:30, December 31st, 2011. It was gutted. There is no legal veil. There's not even a veil between news and entertainment. It's up to us to make discernment between the two. So when you watch the evening news and then it goes to, Inside Edition, there's no difference between those two. None. Legality, be damned. There's none. It's up to you to discern. Period. So there you go. You got that. Right. So now all this shit's legal. Okay, so now I throw another one in there. All right, I'm a first responder, aquatic certified. I just something I did when I was on my back, when I did the car salesman stuff and stuff.
Mhm.
Before I went back into my hard work, I thought, well, damn, I better get myself back in shape. So I went back to the pool. I was a swimmer when I was young. I went back to the pool and I got myself back in shape. And I just lost my train of thought. Son of a bitch.
About when you were a first responder?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So while I was there, I just went ahead and took the class, okay, first responder. They said, well, damn, you want to be aquatic certified? Sure. Yeah, so I did that. Something to do. And my children were swimming at the AAU facility uptown Charlotte. So that was easy. Good to go. And the lady that was the head, was one of my coaches when I was young, so I didn't even have to pay anything. I mean, I literally didn't have to pay anything. I just helped coach here and there and this, that, and the other. Pick up, anyways, lane ropes, help put them out, that kind of thing. So, anyways, yeah. So I knew that Vegas, everyone in Vegas, everybody from a first responder up, okay, would have got an alert text at the very least, to be on guard, to be ready. Have your shit packed. Go get your bike bag ready. Make sure your respirator has plenty of device. You know what I'm saying, mate? Mm-hmm. Be ready to go. Be ready to be pumping on somebody's chest while you're pumping on a bag on their face any minute now. Be ready to go. Have your car warmed up. Right?
Right.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know any first responders in Vegas. Thinking, how the hell am I going to verify this? And it's 7:00 in the morning. They just did this at midnight, so they're about right. 600 people were injured or killed. Right. So I just simply Googled the 3 nearest emergency rooms. They would have been flooded. 600 people. And wow, there was 3 of them pretty close to that venue. So I called each one of them with one phone and recorded the calls with another to a person. And the first was just genuinely beautiful. I asked how many, hey, I'm Chris Maxwell, so I'm a first responder, aquatic certified. How you doing? My number, such a just, let them know I'm real. And she says, we haven't seen a soul. And you could hear it in her voice. It was quiet. She's the lady that's about to change shifts. She's the one that's been there all night. I got there early enough to catch them at the end of their shift. Her voice was just a voice of.
And how long ago? How many hours was this after the incident?
6, 4. I don't know exactly what time it happened. That morning.
Right.
It happened like around 12 midnight, and I called at 7 in the morning before the shift changed at 8. Yes, ma'am. And I called 3 of them, and it was the first lady. I could tell she was about to cry. I said, well, I called the next one, confirmed, same thing. Called the next one, confirmed, same thing. Well, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I dropped my earpiece. Hang on a minute. So I put this on my, back then it was Chris Maxwell Facebook account. They purged that thing from the internet 7 days after Trump took office at 70 months. Whatever, 7 years, 7 months, 7 days old. 7 days afterwards, they cleared 3 of my machines of all pertinent information, and they shut my Facebook account, Chris Maxwell account, down for a year, and then sent me an email to open it back up to a unaffiliated email address, and now it's completely shut down. And they always shut me down for 30 days when anything like this was going down. But I created another one under Max Maximus, so you have that. Anyway, getting back, yeah, all 3 of them. Not a one of them in seen. So when I posted that on those social media, I immediately got trolled hard. Why don't you call UMC? Why don't you call UMC? United Medical something Center? Okay. And keep the word united in your mind. So I'm like, what is this? So I look it up. It's a union hospital. I looked a little farther into it. They just had a mass casualty union mandatory mass casualty week-long drill at UMC Vegas. That's where your footage comes from. LARPing. There's companies called GS4. They did the pulse shooting. That was a LARP, live action role play, mass casualty drill, marketed as a real one.
Well,
how can they get away? How can they get away with it? They go to the Smith Month Act. There's no legality. They can't be. It's
well,
just because a bunch of actors told you this shit happened, you're stupid enough to believe it.
let me tell you something that happened here.
Go ahead.
We had a mass shooting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we were supposed to be having a mass shooting drill the following week, right?
Okay, now when I'm sorry, I missed the timeline and which one you're talking about.
Okay, we had a mass shooting here in Virginia Beach last year.
Right, I remember when that lady got shot on the boardwalk or something.
No,
there was another one. Okay.
This was a mass shooting.
Yes, ma'am.
18 people got shot.
Okay.
And anyway.
Well, that's 666. I just heard 666 right there.
It really happened. It was right next to my job. I know some of the people that died.
Wow.
Anyway,
yes, ma'am.
The very first thing that came on the internet was people putting up fake stuff saying that they were showing the inside of the building and saying there's armed police officers there. This is all lies, though. See, these people have never even been to Virginia Beach, and they got all these people believing this was a false flag, right? True, we did have the next week was scheduled, and they had planned it 2 years before that to practice drills on how to handle a mass shooting, because if you don't practice it, if you were learning as a first responder, if you don't practice stuff, it is harder when you deal with it in real time, because it's really stressful at that point. So,
yes, ma'am. That's what the training is all about.
Okay, so anyway, so it really happened, but you had these YouTube channels doing shows, and they would have fake callers call in and say, I live in Virginia Beach, and I can tell you it wasn't real, and I was standing out there, and it was all so BS. But here they are calling children that were crying because their parents just were murdered, calling them children crisis actors with fake tears, and they hadn't even buried their parents yet. I was so livid. I
can imagine, Judy.
So we know that there's real situations that happen, and we know that there's a lot of other evil stuff, and we know that anything that happens, if there's an evil person, they are going to try to utilize it to their benefit. So whether they're people in power and with money, or it's just someone serving Satan, we know that. I'm sorry you struck a nerve on that one, because this was one of those situations people said wasn't real, and it was very real.
Please don't apologize, because I knew this. I knew this in my heart of hearts, because these bastards are evil. You see, they'll spin a secondary story to control the narrative, and then they'll spin one off of it.
Yeah.
And they literally have nephews, nieces, people that don't even know what they're doing. This is what you need to do. This, just a quick off the topic. A young man up the street I caught with 6 Facebook accounts, and he was being paid. I wondered how that boy was getting his money. I knew him quite personally. We were close friends. And he was like, oh, no, man, you're out of your mind about the stripes. Come on, man. I knew he was smart enough not to be like that. And I was curious. And yeah. I was helped by a gorgeous little, skinny little redhead that were mutual friends. And she helped me. She's kind of wounded. And I was able to get a hold of this thing before it timed out. And yeah, there it was. So there are agents out there that are being paid to spin these narratives.
Well,
and they can
right,
be as
and that
common as
works.
your neighbor.
Right.
They can be as common as your neighbor who happens to be a damn farmer. So a farmer's boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of
That's how
yeah.
deep that shit. That's how deep that damn deception goes.
Well,
and those younger kids, that, okay, I forget the quote. I'm gonna quote it, but I can't bring up his name at the moment. Physicians, AMA physicians will be tasked with driving the soul from humans. I can't remember who. If you type it in, it'll probably come up. The quote.
Well, nobody can drive the soul.
Listen to me.
Nobody can drive the soul from humans. That's God. That's God.
They don't have the empathy because it's been driven out through chemicals. Through alchemy, and so that's why they could easily turn.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
what you're doing to your fellow man, deceiving them like that. Liars, is what I'm referring to. But that was an off topic, and I apologize. But I knew that I knew that there were times when that would be used to distract from real people getting killed elsewhere. You with me?
Mm-hmm. There's
all right, and now
there's a lot of deception.
I told you about Shauna Cox. I told you about the Hearst and their shit. I told you about the damn Ferguson play, and it's all a fucking play.
Chris.
Yeah, and they terrorized that town though, didn't they? They
Chris.
Kids. So that shit really happens. I'm sorry.
Scripture says the deception will be so great that if it were possible, even the elect would be fooled. So you think that the deception is bad now? Give it another few months.
Oh yes, ma'am. I know it's terrible. I'm watching my people hunker down and let themselves die. See, they're getting us in a position where all middle class and upper middle class have just totally their bank accounts are done. So now there's going to be here you go. Here is your digital wallet. And oh goodness, by the way, we have this fabulous new V. So you need to turn your arm over here and let us stab you. That's where we're going. That's what this is all about. And that V, you will either survive it and become a techno serf under their strong city, sustainable, resilient kill grid, techno serf grid, biobot grid. Literally, nanotech turns us into biobots that are in real time targeted through our DNA signature, our aura. That's why they want you to stay 6 feet apart, because you don't want your auras mixing. And the natural aura of us mixing like that and us gathering and our thoughts being shared, we figure out how few they are doing this. And they'll be shitting in their boots because the noose will be snapping at the bottom.
Do you think they had this technology in 6,000 years ago when the plagues came and killed a bunch of people?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. This is secular. We got a 360-degree circle. We got a 360-year cycle. We got a 3,600-year cycle. Do I believe we're in the grand cycle? Well, they keep telling us we're in the great jubilee year of 780, 5,780. That would be the Phoenician lunar calendar. Getting back to Okafuku.
So if they had this technology 6,000 years ago, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think in just the last 100 and some years we just got vehicles and electricity and all the things that have just ramped up technology wise? If all this was available 6,000 years ago.
The mud flood? Are you familiar with what they call the mud flood at the beginning of the end of the 16th century, 17th century coming in?
No.
Are you familiar with that? The Tatarian architecture.
No.
Look up the first San Francisco World's Expo or World's Fair. It's an expo, I think. And look at those buildings. They're built for 15, 17 foot metal. Every one of them. and they're fabulous, and they're everywhere. Look it up. It's easy to find.
Okay, but
Type in
what's that got to do with the question?
that deluge that put silt 20 feet over the earth happened how many years ago? 360 years ago. The timelines, honey, are way off. That's why we have a what they call a 1,000-year dark age, because it's not there. That's how they manipulate time. Time's easy to manipulate generation to generation. All you got to do is control the narrative.
Well,
first.
In the digital world now, I mean, they could reset all the clocks while you're sleeping, and you wouldn't even know it.
That's why I have every single one of my old, very, very dependable watches going. And no, we're not keeping the same time.
Yeah, I know. My car
now,
wasn't
I'm
keeping
not as
it.
diligent as I used to be, and I don't find them as often. Now, I thought, I'll use my Seiko Kinetic. And then I thought, no, it's got a crystal in it. If it's got a crystal in it, it can be manipulated. And we are crystalline beings. H2O, ladies and gentlemen. Hydrogen and oxygen. That's what fires these miry clay bodies. H2O. What fires the plants?
Oxygen and
CO2.
water
CO2.
fire almost everything in the
CO2 fires
universe.
the plants. Why is there a battle against CO2? Because it fires the plants. It is carbon and 2 oxygens. That's what carbon is. That's what CO2, carbon dioxide, is. 1 part carbon, 2 parts oxygen. We are carbon oxygen beings. What is the demonization of us? This is a battle against God's creation.
Yeah,
we don't get up off our bloody knees, they're going to succeed. Now, here's the kick. Zionists teach that you are to sit in your house, shut the hell up, and don't kill the viper. No, if we don't, then the prophecies come around. But now, if you look at the Hopis, they'll tell you, plant a garden, go back to your shops, merchants. When a man in a purple suit, we call it navy blue, but you better look at your spectrum. It's purple, and that means king, queen monarchies, ancients, going back to the pharaonic days, pharaonic. Okay? If we just rule them, and we separate who they're trying to harass, period, and we show them the latest, what's the name of it? New England article that Dr. Fauci put in. You need to type that in, girl. Read that. Are you with me? I may have lost you. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you.
Good, wonderful. How many people we got in the chat? I can't see.
Now it's only 3. It was 50, but everybody left.
I hear you. Well, might have got a little crazy for them. When did they leave? When I went into the all the characters, maybe.
I don't even remember. I
Right.
was trying to listen to you, so I can't,
LaVoy, right. LaVoy Finicum was played by Ed Harris. Bundy is T. Boone Pickens, and those 2 characters are played by the matriarch of the hearse today, Patty's daddy. Honest to God, these are characters that are played. They're not real people. They come on that black screen and they're running a narrative, and they're the same oligarchical families, and it's the same with the king and the queen over there. They're running a narrative. It's all a show. They have no real power. They're just people running around in the blood-soaked finery wearing purple. There was a time if you wore purple, you'd get killed if you weren't. You hadn't had your shoulder touched. You know what that's about? Letting them touch you with the sword to the shoulder. Yeah, I could cut your head off right here. At service too. Every barrister, we call them attorneys here, AMA or accredited British, British accredited. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The bar. Yeah, they work at the service of the Queen, the monarchy. And the EU is about all of those families coming together. Yeah. Look at the Frankists. Look at, that's what Macron is. Macron. He claimed he won the popular vote at 66.6%, standing in front of a black pyramid with a powerful laser going out of top of it. Huge. It's in the Louvre. Yeah. And then a couple of days later, he said, I am Jupiter incarnate, the god Jupiter incarnated. And then we come to find out that Notre Dame is actually built on top of the ancient shrine to the god Jupiter. And then when we watch them burn them ancient petrified timber, you can't burn them. I'm a mechanical contractor. You can put a torch on those things all day long. They're damn near rot. They're petrified. They're not burning. You might turn them to charcoal, that little spot, but that's it. They're not burning. As you watch it, the thing burn in fast motion, it'll turn every color that you see in the stripes of Jupiter. That's their magic. They have power. The serpent feathered dragon has given them that power. They used it to burn that thing. You know, they reveal it. That's what it does. And look at the millions they sent those Frankists. Look into them. What do they do in their catacombs? They stack the bones of the people they eat during these times and dividing of times, which you go in cycles of 300, circles of 300 and 3,600. Jubilee year. We're supposed to have all the debt washed away. And what did Trump say? The virus will be washed away. You might want to look into there's a big piece of Hawaii that if that volcano goes off just right, it'll fall into the ocean and it'll wipe out the west coast of America. And then you have Babylon Canyon that comes right off of the end of or right off Brooklyn, and it's on a major fault. So you got two highly potential tidal waves and earthquakes, while at the same time CERN can cause them anywhere in the world, and not only CERN, many structures. CERN is they're not crashing particles together; they're crashing frequencies together. We're taught that within an atom there's particles called protons. No, that's bullshit. There's no. They're waves. There you go. He spoke it into existence. I've been talking forever, honey. I'm sorry. I love to share. You were kind enough to listen. Give me a platform. Appreciate it. I wish you'd get rid of that cough.
Yeah, it ain't going away till the severe pollen goes away.
Hey, if you can't find food grade peroxide online to be delivered to you, I'll mail you some. You want to know how to use it and get rid of that cough? Food grade peroxide.
I'm listening.
Okay. When we go to the beach, you know the smell of the ocean and it's just nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes us feel good, and we get that sun and we feel good, right?
Yeah.
Well, the sun rays, the yellow sun rays, not the white one, the yellow sun rays cooks the top of the ocean and it creates food grade peroxide, which is H2O2. It's oxygen with one extra oxygen molecule. It's water with one extra oxygen molecule.
Right.
That's what peroxide is.
Right.
And this is food grade because there's no additives. Alchemists haven't gone mad and touched it, right?
Right.
It's natural. Well, it's packed full of negative ions. And what's so ironic, and this is how Luciferians turn everything upside down and back, is the negatives are ones that are good for us, and they call the positive ones that are bad for us positive. What? You stupid idiots. right? It's crazy. What do you do that for? So you can get food grade peroxide. And what I do is I mix it. I mix a full dropper full of 12%. You can find food grade peroxide at different percentages. A full dropper full to a liter of distilled water. You gotta have distilled water because you want no minerals in it. Because the oxygen will interact with the minerals.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So, right. And I use as an oral spritz. And I don't mind. I get my face and my eyes in it a little bit, and clean them out, all this goodness. Yeah. And it absolutely, and not only is it a agent that is going to kill bad boogers, right? Even bad breath, for instance. And but you're getting that extra oxygen into your bloodstream, which kills those free radicals. It also cleans out all your upper, lower, everything. Because I atomize it. You know, I'm breathing in deeply through my mouth and out through my nose, and as I fill my mouth, I'll atomize that with my lips. You know,
Right.
and breathing deeply, and that just, oh man. Well, see, I was a swimmer, so I knew the magic of peroxide because I used it to keep from getting earaches. Because let me tell you, when you got a championship coming up and you're 15 swimming in Olympic times and you're undefeated for a second year, you don't want an earache coming up with the big meet, right?
Nope.
So I knew these tricks, and yeah, it's wonderful. So if you can't get some food grade peroxide, let me know and I'll mail you some. I promise. I bought a good little bit when I saw the craziness start, and I've always kept it. And I use it with distilled water in a spritz bottle, and that's what I shake well and then spritz. And I do the maintenance twice a day. If I feel I'm coming down with something, I'll hit it every hour, 4 or 5 good spritz. Everybody I've told has it. Their hack is gone. If you hear me hacking, it's because I smoke like a train. Yeah, it's wonderful stuff. And if you can't find it and get it to you, I'll make you some. I promise. All you gotta do is email.
So I did a show 3 weeks ago,
Yes, ma'am.
and I titled 314, March 14th equals coming after or behind, right? And 2020 means deliverance in Hebrew and Greek Strong Concordance. So
There you go. Yeah. Well, that
314.
Manny Fish, he really uses that well, doesn't he?
Who?
Manny Fish.
I don't know who that is.
Wow, you gotta go to his channel. If you like that, or if you use it, you know what I mean? Go to his channel, Manny Fish.
So anyway, I had this thought about 314 for some reason, March 14th, right? That something big, something biblical was coming after that date, right? So I looked it up, and 314 means coming after or behind, right? And then 2020 is deliverance of whatever it is that's coming after 314. So I'm like, there's got to have some biblical significance that something big is happening, and then there's going to be a deliverance from it, right? Now, whether that's to usher in Antichrist, or maybe Jesus will shorten the days, as he said, lest no flesh be left.
Wow. Do you not think the Lord's days have already been shortened? We were discussing how they're manipulating our watches in time and all that, and there's a white sun instead of a yellow sun now.
Well,
so it's setting so far north, I can't imagine.
I know.
And it's setting rising so much.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
do you know that the moon rises red every single night for the last 3 years? There is a blood moon rises.
Yeah, since that last crazy eclipse.
Yep.
Right? When's that one supposed to come back through and make the eggs?
Next 2021. Well, how long ago was the other one? Because it's supposed to be 7 years.
7 years. Okay. Well, that'd be tribulation, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, September 23rd, you're familiar with that day, right? 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This the way the
Right.
stars and everything
Do you
aligned.
know where the sun rose that day in Egypt, where you would be standing looking right at the sun rising, and which house it was in?
No.
If you'd have been standing in front of the Sphinx with its nose to your back, or the back of your head, you'd have been watching that sun come up. I mean, like that thing was placed right there to witness it. And it rose right in Virgo. It was the sun at her shoulder, the moon was at her feet. 3 stars wandering had entered Leo to give her the 12 stars of the crown.
Right.
Yeah. And that day is when Jupiter said, I've had enough 9 months later of my retrograde. And that star exited. And who did it run into first? Which house? So that would be Ophiuchus. And the next would be St. Michael. And I'm a lieutenant in his army, ma'am. Good to meet you. Yes, ma'am. I'm a serpent slayer. I've been doing it since they killed my fine microsurgeon. Fabulous man. Speaking of Olympic times, he came in second to Bruce Jenner, or he would have represented it. This is true. These are true stories. These people, you can look them up. I had dinner with them on their patio. Yeah, it was a beautiful time. And they killed him. I thought, wow, we're going to be able to stop this. They assassinated. And I was told I needed to be quiet for a couple of years for fear of the other families and this, that, and the other, and stop sharing my package of information and all that stuff. It's crazy. And then, of course, they wiped it off my phone, on my tablet. So it's not there anymore, but I don't care. I have it. I know what it is. And so much has come out since then. It's not even necessary. It's been a crazy ride, dude. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And then I look into my family, and I get this. We were building castles with stones. I build big things, the biggest things on the East Coast. No, we struggle to move these things. Okay? And my people in the 11th, 12th, and 13th century were building castles with moats around them out of those things. I'm a damn Nephilim, honey. I'm a Nephilim bloodline, the Maxwell bloodline. Look up my castle. Maxwell Scottish Castle. Type it in. I've always thought to myself, what I ought to do is go camp out there and go, no, listen, nobody's living here. I claim it. I'm a Maxwell. Here's my image. I got my code, I got my plan, I got the whole 9, and I'm a big boy. And for some reason, I had this fabulous urge to build big things. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's a generational, we call it intuition. It's actually instinct. That's bred into us. That's our genes going way back. That's why I know we don't need that wackadoodle stuff with the alchemists to better God's creation. Because we're here because our people made it through the worst stuff. They were the most clever. They were the most healthy. They got moved when they needed to, if they needed to, right?
I hear you.
That's why we're here. That's the only reason we're here. I mean, think of all the mass casualties have been through the years and the ages and whatnot. We're here. Yeah. You ever heard of King Og?
No.
He was a pretty cool character back then. He called us little cells, and he was disgusted at some of his soldiers in his army, the king's army, would eat 30 of us at a sitting. He didn't eat us. He didn't eat little cells. That's King Og. It's pretty cool. There's more than just one book about King Og. Yeah. And then we got, who's that guy that ran around tying giants down?
I don't know.
Remember? Goliath, not Goliath.
You're talking about
Gulliver's Travels.
Oh.
Gulliver's Travels. These are true, y'all. Go back and look at those 15th century maps and overlay them on a today's map. They're right. They knew exactly where they were. Those people knew the topography. They knew the animals. They knew the creatures. They knew the people. 15th century. What happened at the end of the 16th and into the 17th? A great deluge covered this earth in 20 feet of silt. So obviously that was caused by volcanic, which would be electromagnetic interactions. That was 360 years ago. We're going right back through it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I'll tell you a secret. I saw the blue Kachina beside the sun, about the size of a quarter, to our sun the size of a silver dollar. 1 week into September, before September 23rd, 2017, or I'd never known about it because I wouldn't have been looking. Because the Vatican damn sure didn't tell us about it, did they?
No.
That's the third Fatima. What is it? Secret. Mm-hmm. And the Vatican praises Lucifer on Ishtar. That's why Michelle Lightning was on the river watching Notre Dame burn. Do you know that? There's pictures of her. AP Getty. There you go. Gordon Getty's got pictures of her. He had somebody on the boat to take pictures. Yep. He owns California. Yep. Getty pictures. I know you've seen that thing.
Nope.
This is all factual. You really want to see something trippy? Type into your Facebook, search out Rachel. That's with an A, 2 L's. Rachel, E-on-E. Linney, Linney. She's the most pure blood of Mary Magdalene, and she's hiding in a chalet in France. How long is she supposed to be there? Didn't God make her a place? Think I'm kidding? And Trump is actually a McLeod. Now, you can go back to the Braveheart movie, but that's a spin too, because the guy that claims that Jews are killers keeps his hand in his coat. He's got a hidden hand. See, I'm one of those guys. I know what the fuck they're about. You're not using our oaths to commit atrocities. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'm a viper slayer.
All right, I need you to calm down on the language.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
That
Judy, I get mad at this.
I
get mad at this. I apologize. I get mad at those guys.
But it's time for me to go to bed.
I'm sorry?
I said it's time for me to go to bed.
I know, and thank you so much for letting me put this in the ether, and maybe it'll get through this. We'll see.
Yeah, it's just a lot at once for people to take in, and they don't really have time to reference stuff when you go through it so fast. I like to get on a topic and then kind of expound on it, and then. But I mean, you fed me with a bunch.
This is all one topic.
Huh?
Every bit of this time together.
Yeah.
Everything we've just spoken.
Yeah. And then it still relates to scripture.
Sure. And the beauty of this is people can literally take their little machines and they can get, listen, a 3 minutes portion here. That's something that interests them.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
And we've literally put this on the record. And I stand by everything I've said. And I don't believe this because that's not how I work. I experience it, then I look into it. I don't see it on the internet and then go look out in the world. No.
Right.
I see it in the world, and I go to a tool that I've been given, and I have used great discernment because I know the evil that's out there. I've seen it in my own life, and so there you go. And being a mechanical contractor like I am, I know everything from the technical end, because I have to. That's how you pass the test, to the political end, to the highest international laws, standards, weights, and measures. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So that opens you up to such a broad look at the world. Plus, I wouldn't allow them to indoctrinate me in school. I want my English and my math and let me get the hell out of here. And I was a good swimmer, so it didn't bother me that I didn't go to my other classes, and I spent them at the rock quarry with chicks and my dog, right? Truly. Yeah, and it was pretty cool. So and what I guess being so fortunate and having been gifted, I understand the responsibility, and you've given me an opportunity to share some of my experiences. And that's what I want people to know. I don't believe this stuff. I've seen it with my own eyes. And if you don't mind, I'd like to plug one of the most now Now, don't let him turn you off. He talks about Sophia and he's Gnostic, but no, look at his unified code theory. Leave his religion out of it and just look at his unified code theory to blow your mind. It will knock coincidence theory so far out of the park that you'll never think there's ever a coincidence past 3 or past 2 again. You'll know there it is. It's being orchestrated by the hand of God and man, guided by Lucifer.
Yeah.
And God bless everybody. God bless everybody. And may these words go to help and healing and comfort and peace of mind to all us, otherwise peaceful people of the world.
Amen.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you so much, Judy.
Thank you, Chris. It was a very interesting conversation.
Well, I'm sorry I dominated, but I've got a lot to share. And you have my number now, so don't hesitate.
All right.
And if you can't find that food grade peroxide, please do. Give me a call. I'll mail it to you.
Actually, I think my neighbor has some.
Wonderful. 1 dropper full to a liter of water in a spritz bottle. Oh, at 12%. I used it. I found a deal on 12%, so I bought it.
Okay.
So adjust from there.
Right.
One dropper of 12 to 1 liter.
Right.
And it must be food grade and it must be distilled water.
Right. I got you.
Don't even rub that stuff in the brown bottle on your skin. Stop it. Shit's full of poison. They call them stabilizers. Like we can't shake a bottle. All they had to do was to shake well on it. I'm sorry. I'll get mad again. I had this crazy theory one time that we should take all warning labels off of stuff for 5 years and then put them back on because that'd be a nice little spot to hang out in. Oh, I'm terrible. All right, Judy.
All right,
I'm
Chris.
kind of getting a crush on them blue eyes sitting here. You sleep well, huh?
You have a blessed night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for
And
calling in.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to
Good
you
night.
again. All right, honey. Good night.
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
Okay, people. That was a very interesting call. And I'm sorry I'm kind of out of it because it's been a rough day. I wasn't expecting to get laid off. I was expecting my hours to still be small like they have been for the winter, but I wasn't expecting a layoff. And it just kind of threw me for a loop. So, on that note, God loves you, and so do I. And sure there'll be lots more interesting news unfolding tomorrow. We can expect to expect the unexpected and the unimaginable from now on as it heats up. Thank you for calling in, Chris. And yeah, I apologize. I'm a little out of it right now, so I need to say my prayers and try to get some sleep and pray that the good Lord shows me a way to work things out tomorrow. And may the whole world get to know our Savior, because you're going to need them. I mean, you've always needed them, but it's done got real, and there's no going back to great times and the way things were. It's all been set in motion, and we're there. I recommend people pick up a Holy Bible and but I recommend that you pray to God first, whether you believe He's there or not. Ask if He's there. Tell Him. I'm seeking you. I want to know if you're real or not. I want to just, that's all you got to do. Say that to him and mean it with your heart that you want to know. And he will reveal himself, and he will. And then if you pick up a Bible and you're truly seeking God, the inspired word of God will come through the Bible, no matter which Bible it is and who's manipulated it. The inspired word is going to come through. That hasn't changed. Because God's word, he spoke the world into existence with his words. So, all right, y'all. God bless you all. And thanks again, Max, Chris. May everyone be safe and have peace until tomorrow. Well, forever, but I'm signing out.